unqualified morons playing tabletop. This is the Gateway Gamers podcast.
Hi, welcome to the Gateway Gamers podcast. I'm Bryan.
And I'm RP.
And this is a podcast where a veteran like me introduces the world of gaming to a noob.
Like me.
Hello, welcome to Gateway Gamers. Special episode, crossover with the previously recorded.
This is the episode that we promised you.
Yep, not as drunk as I would have liked, but we're getting there.
So I am special guest RP, and the co-host today is Bob and Shane, my co-host of previously recorded. They're the Gateway Gamer co-host today.
Don't forget the producer Nick.
Yeah, producer
Nick
Nick
is
is
also
also
next
here.
year as well.
If he chimes up anything,
He picks and chooses when he wants to talk, but when he does,
It's gold.
You're in for it.
If any previous recorded episodes recorded in the weekend, you will hear I get asked a question, then it's 20 minutes of someone else talking, and then the question gets passed on.
Nick, you don't have to eat the microphone when you talk into it. Just to...
Nick, you've been on this podcast before. You need to really fight to get your answers.
He has
in.
been on Gateway Gamers before.
He's been on Gateway Gamers before.
No, I
Nick?
said
he
he
has.
has. This is
my
special.
first.
this is what we're dealing with, folks.
So, did you guys tease that we were gonna do this?
Yeah.
We talked about our retreat to come
I
up
don't
with
listen.
ideas.
I don't listen to your podcast.
That's fine. I don't listen to yours.
I do religiously. I just wanted to reiterate what you said.
Yeah. No,
If you could explain what you said like I was 5, that'd be great.
Talk about retreat, coming up with ideas.
Yeah.
We have a notepad with one page of
Ideas. That was
crayon
yesterday.
scribbles, and
Well, we had a tiny little notepad, and then
we upgrade it.
we risked the elements.
Yeah, brave the elements
Very,
of
very
Ocean
icy.
City, New Jersey to go to Acme.
We walked one whole half a block.
It
to
was
get that.
icy though.
It was
The
icy.
general store was closed.
I felt a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Then we went to Acme and McDonald's.
Which wouldn't let us in because we didn't have masks.
Yeah.
Which
we
is our
forgot
fault.
them. It's our
Yeah.
fault. We
Because
forgot
there's
them.
a pandemic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mask
that's,
up.
that's on us.
That's kind of what we've been up to. If you follow our social, you see we have a giant mountain of games. We've probably
And a-
played 3.
And a giant mountain of beers.
Yeah.
We did play one game.
We've played 3 for a total of 6 hours.
Yeah.
They're just long games.
We did play one game, and it was Throw Throw Burrito.
That's right. Throw Throw
What
Burrito.
about a segue?
Yeah, that was impressive.
Yeah, thanks.
That's why he's my co-host.
Yeah,
so, Throw Throw Burrito is the surprise hit of the weekend so far. I mean,
I wanted to die after playing Betrayal on the Hill. So yes.
it's a card game where you get to peg shit at your friends. So what do you want?
So, Throw Throw Burrito is the same makers as Exploding Kittens. Bob's on point today. Look at him.
He did his research.
Yeah,
Hot seat RP right now.
He's coming for your
he's
job.
watching his job disappear.
We had the conversation earlier, and Marvel seemed to be
Bob's coming for your job.
having a brain fart, so I was just filling in.
So,
You guys act like I don't play games too.
Wait till RP finishes that coffee.
That's
He's
the
gonna
whole,
be right
that's
on
the
it.
whole bit. The whole thing is that RP doesn't have the gaming background. I have
You
more
have a
of a
bit
gaming
more.
background than RP does, which is why me being on Gateway Gamers isn't as appealing because he's the newcomer.
So it's more like art, like Marvel's showing RP.
It's it's the apprenticeship. If
Yeah,
you listen,
if you
to,
listen
literally,
to
if
the
you listen,
episode.
if you listen,
I listened to the first one.
If you listen to the first 6 minutes of an episode, you would know that.
the intro.
Just listen to the intro. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he said, "I don't play games, but that's a pretty good podcast." Clearly, your cards are showing there. Jeez.
So,
Compliment means nothing.
I've played Exploding Kittens with Marvel and other people a bunch. I've played a bunch of the games.
We did
you
used to
guys
play
have
that game.
played.
That's a good game too.
When I was on the Mashup episode,
and we played
that
Smash
was
Up.
not a Smash Up. That was not the first time I'd played Smash Up. So me knowing Exploding Kittens isn't oh my god.
It was just it was impressive you knew the company because I was blanking.
We talked about it earlier. I saw you blanking. We'd already had that conversation earlier.
So
Exploding,
So Throw Throw Burrito is a card game that also turns into a type of dodgeball game. The point is to win 2 rounds, basically. And how you achieve that is there's no turns. Everyone's given 15 cards. There's a bunch of weird animals. If you played Exploded Kittens, it's kind of the same thing. There's licking chicken
non-stop.
and
Licking chicken or
emo,
something
sloth,
like that.
and just weird animals. And then there's also these cards that are either
duel,
brawl, or war. Yeah. So if you get 3 licking chickens, you throw it down in front of you. That's a point. But if you get any of these special cards that
basically
activate
action
a brawl,
type cards,
yeah. So if you get duel, you pick 2 people. They stand back to back as if they're gunslingers. They walk 3 paces, turn around, throw the burrito.
They both have the burrito in their hands when they do that. Yeah.
So they turn around, try to hit each other, and whoever hits the person, they get a little chit and that's one less point at the end of the round. All 6 chits are gone. That's the end of the round. Whoever has the most points with the cards in front of them, because every matching 3 you get is 1 point, and if you throw a matching 3 of the special cards, it's 2 points. And that's pretty much it. And
that's the basis. So duel was back to back. That was like the calmest, to be honest.
Yeah, that was
Because
a breath of fresh air.
You pick 2 people and like, all right, RP, Shane, you're
the
going to
calmest
go.
until we're chasing each other down the hallway.
What now? And then you're throwing, and then we found out that we were staying on top of like a furniture store. And, like, I'm sure at 11 a.m. this morning, they thought that we were bigger degenerates than we were. Like if they'd come up and just seen a bunch of grown-ups
playing this
we're
game,
just playing Throw Throw Burrito,
holding a foam burrito.
Rolling under a table to avoid a hit.
So then the other one, Brawl, was whoever drew played the Brawl cards. Person to the left, person to the right. It was just reaction. Whoever grabbed the burrito, you had to hit the other person.
Basically, if you were always up against RP like I was, just take the loss.
Take the L.
Because you're not beating him.
You were getting smacked in the eye.
He's too quick.
Yeah.
He's too quick.
And
He
then-
grabs the burrito every time, either way. And sometimes it benefits and sometimes it doesn't.
It's true.
And
Yeah.
then the war card was
all-out
anybody but the person who played it is like fair game.
yeah.
And it was just there's 2 burritos, so it was just like first person to get hit gets the token. We actually extended it, so like we played it out.
It was like a last man
So
standing.
like
yeah.
even if the first person got hit got the token, but everybody else just kept playing, and like if whoever the last man standing was won that section, but you didn't win anything. It was just like it was
just-
anticlimactic if
it's just-
somebody got hit right away
Mhm.
because the
Yeah.
war card was like exciting.
It's just fun to peg each other with shit.
Yeah, it was a really good game.
We played 4 rounds?
Yeah, we
3
played-
rounds?
We played for a while.
Yeah, we were sweaty. It was just like it got really hot all of a sudden
We had
after
to turn
running
the AC
around.
on,
Yeah.
and fans.
We were diving behind couches, run up the halls. It was fun. Like I'm surprised how much I like that game.
So Shane, from a person who doesn't game, you seem to be really enthralled by this game. You really enjoyed to play it. Would this open you to play more games, or do you think this is like a one-off kind of thing?
No, absolutely would open me to play more. That and the second part of this episode, what was that game called?
Betrayal at the house on Haunted Hill.
I was really
Snooze
into that
fest.
one.
I was shocked.
I was into it.
I actually was surprised. With how
I'm
into
hoping
that
we
game
play some
Shane
Harry
was.
Potter Clue later because I'll get super into that also.
Well, that's a standard.
That's a standard.
yes.
Those games don't get covered on here.
Harry Potter Clue doesn't come out until 1 a.m. anyway.
if
That's
more
we play.
board games let me peg my friends with foam burritos, I would be a part of this podcast.
Was
You
Christine
can
there
peg
that
me
night
whenever
just
you want.
Asleep, and we were playing Harry Potter Clue that one
No,
night?
because
Yeah.
that was the hot wing.
It was the
episode.
hot wing. Well,
She
hot
ate
wing
so
episode?
much hot wings and drank so
Yeah,
much milk
so
that
we
she went
played-
to
Oh
sleep
yeah, she is passed out.
Yeah.
We
She
played
had the chills.
we played Harry Potter Clue like a few
for
times,
6 hours in a row.
and then it was like 1 a.m. We're like, all right, one more game, and it went an hour and a half, and it was like
And,
3:30
and
in the
poor
morning.
Christine was like sleeping on the couch,
Oh my God.
waiting to take like
Well,
she was driving.
From the hot wings, she drank about a gallon of milk.
Yeah, she had one
Then
bite
she-
of one of the
Yeah.
wings that wasn't one of the hot ones, and then
Then-
she couldn't handle anything else. She drank about 7 cups of milk.
Then she had the chills.
Then she was eating
Sherbet.
because we didn't have sorbet.
Because
to conjure palate,
RP thought sorbet and sherbet were the same thing.
which
I
is the
think.
great, which is
Are
better.
they not?
Palate
I don't-
cleanser.
well,
It's
It's
I
the
don't
best.
know.
Yeah. So like sorbet is different, and RP goes, I
I don't know how different though.
I don't
Yeah.
know either, but the
No, I
idea
think
that
you,
he
I
goes,
think you could get more sherbet. That's why
RP
you got
said,
it.
I got rainbow sherbet
That's what they
as,
didn't have.
as a palate cleanser.
It did work.
It
They
did
didn't
work.
have
It was
sorbet,
great.
so I just got
It was
rainbow
cold on your
sherbet.
tongue. It felt good.
So she ate probably half of that.
Yeah, and then she just went
And
to
then
sleep.
she had her jacket on inside the house and just went to sleep on the couch.
If that entices you in any way, shape, or form, we do have a Would You Rather or hot sauces episode on previously recorded. Go check it out
It's
if
a
it entices
it's a
you.
gross.
If you
want to
listen to people chew
Yeah.
wings, go check it
I
out.
did my best to
it's a lot of chewing.
It was a
have
bad.
producer Nick edit out.
That
the
was
stuff.
what episode like.
Hot
It was
wings.
pretty early on.
It was like 15.
That
That was the only episode that RP's dad was on.
It made
Yeah.
so
Oh,
much.
that's a special
it made
one, then.
So much
Yeah.
sense in our heads.
We all died.
And then we didn't think
So
about
hot.
the fact that you had to listen to us chew wings.
Disgusting. So Nick, you're also in the same boat as Shane, not very much a gamer. Would this open up for you, or is this a game that like you're like, okay, I don't need to play anything
I
more?
think this was more we played. I would say more of a one.
A one
All
and
up
done.
to like if to say to try to sell you on all
Yeah. It's
games.
definitely-
Like
yeah.
it's definitely I would say
it's a good.
different, but it was really enjoyable.
Yeah.
I would like to see. I know we used a table that was kind of longer. Like if it was a
it was not
circular
proportionate
table,
to the amount of people that we had for sure.
I was shocked at kind of strategy you had to kind of put into the game. Like If you, depending on who you play to get like next to, was really make or break because the speed they put cards like RP.
Yeah.
Was flying cards,
Yeah.
and then I would turn to Shades, and it's like they're like waiting for another card.
Well, plus RP was killing me with the burrito, but then I was also just pegging the shit out of Bob, which eventually I felt bad, just because you were always right to my left. It's the easiest throw.
Like
I
one-
mean, I'm used to it. My parents do it.
Like one
Yeah.
round, I thought
throw a
Bob
burrito
was,
at your
I was like,
face
I'm
all
just
the
giving him points. Like,
Well,
I
that's-
know it's gonna happen.
same. So,
Yeah.
so I don't think we said it.
Yeah, it's
so
an aspect we didn't
basically,
talk about.
You have your 15 card draw pile, and you have to have 5 cards in your hand, and then you just discard. But your discard pile is the person next to you's draw pile.
Yeah.
So like, however fast you discard, and then it becomes just not like a
There's no turns.
organized.
It's just going.
Yeah, but it's not like an organized pile. It becomes literally just like a mass of cards that
In
you're
front
just
of you.
picking whatever you grab out of that. And so like the faster, like I would be like, it would just become just a shuffled amount of cards, and then I would see Nick put one down, and Nick had been feeding me gold because he obviously was looking for something that he wasn't getting.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, I'm taking Nick's card, like whatever this one was, I want that one.
At one point, I kept losing because I forgot to try and get points. I just wanted the cards where I got the throw.
To make a burrito fight, yeah. Yeah, that was interesting because the first game, Shane was not feeding me cards. He was like really thinking it out instead of kind of moving along. Yeah.
Strategy, I got a little better. I finally won at the end, but it took me like 6 games to.
Yeah, and that was the biggest
Well,
problem I
you played
had.
2 rounds, so I guess we played 3 games, right? Because we played 6 total rounds.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the biggest problem I had was the same thing. I wasn't getting points
I just
with
wanted
the
people-
animals. I just wanted to fight.
I just
like
wanted
that.
people
Yeah,
to throw burritos at each other.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, we only played it 3 times. I don't know if because there was rounds where like I felt like the one game I had like 10 points,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next game I had like 1. So I don't know if it's a matter of like what you're looking for or like
Inconsistent.
bad cards. Like I don't know, but
I think it's just whoever's feeding you cards
That-
is
yeah,
looking for.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
if you're hoarding like a certain card,
true.
you're
like,
not.
I
Yeah.
have, what was it, Lucky Ducky or Clucky?
Yeah,
what
licking
I kept
chicken
doing.
and
I
yeah.
kept-
Both have 2 of them.
Yeah, and none of us are
I'm
giving
feeding
it.
you everything else. We're just gonna keep sliding that, passing that down the line.
RP's quick with the draw, so he kept pegging me with burritos. So I just wanted to be the one.
be
to
able
initiate it.
declare that
Yeah.
they're a
So
burrito.
he couldn't peg me with burritos.
Speaking of like hoarding cards, I kept hoarding like the brawl ones, the dual ones,
If
the
you got a
war
war
ones.
one, you had to keep on to it. You couldn't.
Yeah.
Or like I would have been hoarding, like say I had 2 of the chickens or whatever, and I would pass up like all these other cards, and I wouldn't get that 3rd chicken, but I would have completely just handed Nick 3 points.
Oh, absolutely. There was multiple
Absolutely
example, and I
strategy.
passed 3 sloths.
Yeah, in a row.
Just trying to find the 3rd chicken, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's the risk it to the it's risk it for the
You got a
biscuit
video of
mentality.
this to post with it, right?
Oh,
you
yeah,
can see us
absolutely. I
throwing
have,
the burrito at each other.
Yeah, RP and Nick doing
the duel.
a duel, which
There
is
was
Cheeks to
there
cheeks.
was one.
Yep.
That
Cheek to
it's
cheek.
not the highlight, but in my head, I thought I really had it beat. So we're in this Airbnb, and it was me versus Marvel, and I threw my burrito and missed. So he had the burrito, and I ran and I dove over the back of the couch, grabbed the cushion, and held it up like a shield, like very Captain
one
America.
swift move.
in
It
my
was it was
mind.
impressive.
And then was like, but I was on the floor now, like pinned, and I was like, oh my god, that was so cool. I'm not gonna lose. And then Marvel just Brian.
I just walked over,
Brian
yeah.
just waited for me to like move, and then just gently tossed the burrito at me, like you idiot.
I
you
wanted to
lost
see how
anyway."
far you'd flail
Oh,
before.
I flailed for a while too. Like I was a salmon, and you were a grizzly bear, and it wasn't happening for
It was
me.
too bad because it was a really smooth. It was like if Cap like dove on the shield and picked it up. He was just standing over here like you fucking idiot.
Just and I was just like, well, I just gotta wait till he peeks out.
Yeah,
I'll just-
exactly. That's all.
Let
it
me just
was.
drop it on
That-
you.
Much like Nick in a lot of the duels, where Nick would go towards the hallway and you would try to evade him, but then he would just be standing there waiting to peg you with the burrito. 'Cause
Yeah.
Nick doesn't fall for any bullshit, I guess.
It brought back a lot of childhood, like me and my brother playing dodgeball in the house with things that weren't dodgeball.
That's exactly
Things
what
that
it
could break
reminded me
everything.
of. Like when someone like flipped over the couch, I thought of like
It's
like
like-
you're playing like not let the balloon touch the ground.
Exactly.
Kind of like
yeah.
feeling. where,
Just like those dumb games that you play as a kid that are just like, hey,
like
whatever
hand
this
hockey
is.
in the
Yeah,
basement.
exactly. Me and my brother used to play soccer, full on soccer in our living room.
Yeah,
We
everyone.
didn't have goals. The one goal was like underneath the piano. Like if you could hit that like area under,
Has anybody ever used that piano?
it's gone. But
It's
now
a hockey
we
goal.
did.
Yeah,
My
it's a
mom
hockey goal.
bought it. It was weird. My mom bought it because like my sister played when she was like 6. My mom bought it after the fact, and then we had one, and then we got rid of it, and my mom bought it again when my sister went to college. That was really late. I don't know why we had that piano. So
An expensive memento. It's to remember
so
her by.
now that I said my sister went to college, so spoiler, this soccer game took place when I was 17 years old. But same thing, and then the other goal was the kitchen, and we'd dribble around each other with a dog toy. None of it was ever meant to be what it was. And they clearly were this stuff's fun. Let's make a game out of it.
That's exactly what it is. And I think this is also one of those games that is the audience. This game could be really boring if you're playing. Yeah.
A bunch of uptight,
if they're not diving. We were literally
flailing-
diving
we
under
were
the table.
flailing
If
around,
you're just
having a lot of
picking it
fun
up
with
and
it.
just
Yeah.
gently tossing it at the person next to
Imagine
you.
we weren't throwing the burritos as hard as we possibly could.
I literally one time went I'm having a lot of fun with this, but would I want to buy this for my niece and nephew? I'm but I wouldn't be as enjoyment. I pegged Bob,
But
not
you could
looking.
destroy your niece and
And,
nephew.
yeah, that's not as fun.
Yeah, if you-
with a no look, toss that went right into my eye.
If you
Imagine
don't
Bryan-
like your family, this is a great game.
If you're all over a certain age and there's alcohol involved, great
Imagine
time with
Bryan
your family.
playing with your niece and nephew, just diving all over the ground.
Oh, I would destroy them. When I worked at a school, after school program, and we would play dodgeball, and no mercy. If they were softballs, I'd be wailing them.
Skins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I loved it. I did the same
Billy
thing.
Madison.
Oh, yeah,
You were in
absolutely.
Big trouble.
So, yeah, I mean, I was surprised at this game. I think it was really enjoyable. I got it for Christmas. I mean, I think it goes for $25, but I've seen it cheaper.
Earlier, it was 25.
Yeah, I've seen it cheaper. It dropped down to $12 right before the holidays. I've seen it.
They might have done
Yeah, like a
discount,
Black Friday,
yeah.
but I've seen it cheap go on sale before. So
I think it's probably if you have the right group,
it's a
25 is very
Good point.
oh yeah, that's
If you
replayable.
can get it for 12, that's a steal.
I know they
I
made.
know it's marketed probably more for kids.
I don't think so.
The
I don't
Scrubs
know.
podcast does it a lot. He talks they used to talk about Donald Faison would talk about how his kids love that game.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I
like,
guess kids.
I think it's more fun if you're old enough to hurt somebody. with
Yeah,
a
exactly.
burrito.
So but also I don't know if that
Tell us more shit.
who hurt you.
Dude, RP hurt me a lot.
I don't know.
He was
I
whipping
don't
that
know
thing
if
at me.
that was just
All love.
the situation on the podcast where he talked about his kids a lot. So he
Yeah.
was, bringing
I
them
mean,
into
yeah,
the
I think
advertisement
it's-
or if
It could
that's
definitely be a good
marketable.
kids game as well.
How many hits we did end up having turned into just a light?
Oh yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
wow.
That's
And
these
even
are
the
the best
hard
ones.
didn't hurt that.
Well,
you're not going to be
the
intimidated.
hardest hits we were getting was if they threw it at you and missed, and you had
You had to
It was
roll to
given.
get
You were
it.
gonna hit them, so you would just come peg it at them as hard as you possibly could.
Yeah. So that's Throw Throw Burrito. I think it's a surprising hit. Our other game, which was not a hit for RP.
Should I check out now? like I did with the game.
So the other game we played today was Betrayal at House on the Haunted Hill, which I think is from I want to say Avalon Hill.
You know what? I want RP's.
Oh, yeah.
genuine
Tell-
perspective on it.
Wait,
So I
so
don't
were
want
you
to,
were you
just
really
tune out.
that bored,
Let
or
him
did you
talk
just
about
really
it.
need
Let
a coffee at
Let
that
it-
point?
Hold
Yeah, hold on. Hold on. What's your initial thoughts on?
So I have no idea what the heck was going on with that game.
I think that was the biggest problem,
Literally
yeah.
Zero, and then I was tired. And you gotta understand, people. You guys know how I am. We've been here. We were up late last night. I didn't sleep great last night into this morning. We were up at 7:30. It's just we were at a high with Throw Throw Burrito, and literally went directly to this long out dream where we got up. I was relaxed, popping out all the pieces, and then there's like a 16-page booklet you got to read to get through the game. And I was like, I don't care at all. And Shane, Bob, and Brian were having a great
And Nick.
time. And Nick was Nick was
I
getting.
was,
Nick
I
we
was
died.
all in reading these cards, and
Until he
no
died.
one was paying attention to me.
So I was like, okay.
Well, every card Nick got
Was
was
a
6
novel.
pages
Yeah.
long.
So I was like, okay, this game probably won't take this probably take like 40 minutes. Fine. We got to the 45-minute mark, and I started looking up articles on my phone about other things that interest me because I was so bored. Because I had no idea. It was my own fault. I had no idea what was
Which
going
inherently
on.
made the game longer because
Yeah,
RP
'cause I
was
wasn't
involved in
involved.
it.
And then the end game was like another 45 minutes where we had to separate and read a booklet of 16,000 different scenarios.
To his credit, he could have sabotaged us and just made himself lose, but
No,
He did. He hung in there.
Yeah,
and I
he
kept
did.
saying, like,
He did
look,
keep trying.
You guys could tell. Brian could tell about 10 minutes into the game. He's like, you're not
You
feeling
tuned
this.
out, yeah.
And that's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But I kept saying, you guys are into this. This is great. Let me know what I need to do to help you guys
at
win.
the end, I was like rolling for him. Like,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
said. Well, at the
tuned
end,
out,
me and Nick just sat to the side, and we're doing a podcast for previously recorded, and I was just like, look, you tell me what you need to do so that our team can win. That's all. Just tell me, because like you guys are enjoying it.
Which we did win.
You did win. I'm not gonna ruin it for other people because I'm just not into it.
Yeah.
But I got to a point where I could not wait for this game to be over, and I think it's just
You weren't feeling
I
it.
just wasn't feeling.
I think
it.
another day, another try.
We all said, like after the fact, it was like RP said, a big high low. Like we went from a very fast paced throw burrito to a very like
Train burn.
throw,
Like we tried to
like a
think.
mind burner.
Yeah.
Like
type
I was
game.
looking forward to it. We've played Thanos Rising again. I was looking something like that's kind of quick. The Funko verse. I was looking for something like that, but this was just a slow.
We did
burn.
get hit with a lot of rules right away too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Another day where you weren't as tired and you were more into like a longer game, I think you would like it more.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's kind of go over the gameplay. So Betrayal at House on Haunted Hills, like basically a role-playing game, where you and the other players are exploring a house. And it's one of those games where as you're going through the house, you're building the mansion. So you start in like the foyer, and then you have your little characters have movement, might, stamina.
Stamina and knowledge.
Yeah.
Stamina and knowledge.
So your move is how many places you can move throughout the building. So as you're moving, you're flipping over tiles that are rooms or hallways of the house. As you're going through, you're collecting items. You're doing omens
And then there's events.
and events. So each tile, or almost every tile, has a little icon on the side in the corner, and that's the card that you draw. You read the card, and that's pretty much it. If you have an item, it's an item, gun,
tells
or
you what to do, tells you what you get, tells you what's going on.
They kind of aid you. So it's very straightforward in the beginning. So in the beginning, building the house, you're exploring the house, raising your might, you're getting knowledge, you're getting items, weird stuff's happening throughout the house.
So every omen card that you get at the bottom says like roll for a haunt. And so depending on how many omen cards were out on the table, you rolled all the die, which I think was 8 total die.
I think 8,
in
yeah.
the game. And they have blanks. They're weird die. So like blank faces, ones and twos.
2.
That's the most that they have on them. And so if you rolled less than the amount of omen cards that were showing, the haunt began. So there was 5 of us, and we weren't really getting a lot of omen cards in the beginning. So I think that allowed us to kind of explore the house a lot. But once the haunt begins, it's almost like a second game with the board.
That's
that
almost
you've
the
just
real
created.
game.
Yeah.
Like that's almost
Like you build your board, and then you figure out what your game is.
and then the fun begins.
Yeah.
So I will say, like I was into it prior because I was developing my character. I gave him a few.
He did
different
have an
accents.
accent.
Oh, we did have some accents
accent
for your
changed a
character.
lot.
What was your character's
So
name? Do you
originally it was Professor Longfellow. So
Yes.
originally I decided to make him Southern, and I was like,
I thought Longfellow was more.
Hold on, let him.
this was Professor Longfellow. It keeps going like Southern British. I can't control it. So then Bob was like, well, shouldn't it be? I feel like he's British. I was like, all right, this is Professor Longfellow. It's like whatever. And then we were reading his hobbies and his traits, and he liked Gaelic music. So we're like, oh, we should make it Irish. And so we made it Irish. And he really liked the potatoes. He wasn't a fan of the famine and like all that stuff. And I was really, 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 really into it. And then
he
got
tuned
very
out.
bored.
Then
Yeah, I
once
got very
he-
bored.
once
And
he
then
did the
once
accent, he was
accents
done.
didn't matter anymore, he was like, "This game kind of sucks."
Once I couldn't manage that for like the entire. I tried saying like move me 3 paces, and like it went from
At
like
one point, he was
Australian.
Australian a little bit. Yeah.
Boy.
That was such a seamless British
The
to
British
Irish
to Irish
transition.
is so
though. That was
good.
so good.
I
It's
mean,
impressive.
British
good
and
at it.
Irish listeners, let
that was
us
so
know.
that was
Yeah.
so good.
Our international
one-third.
listeners.
For us
Or like
idiots, that
3%.
seems really like a great transition that he just did.
I'm good at it.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah. So
I can't hold it. That's all.
So once we get all the omens, and as Bob said, you roll the die, and you roll less than the omens that are on the table, the haunt activates. So how you Find the Haunt is actually really
like a
cool.
chart, right?
It's a whole chart in the instruction book, and you go what room you're in and what item that you drew, and then it's like a little cross section, and it tells you who's the traitor. And there's 50 different scenarios in the game.
We got lucky because Marvel was the one who drew the Haunt.
And I became the
So
traitor.
then, so like he all the stuff that would have been complicated, he was in charge of.
Yeah, so like I say, do a little chart. It tells you who's the traitor, if there is one. Sometimes there's no traitor at all. And we played it for a while before Noman popped off, but it's been played before where it's real quick. Like sometimes it can activate almost immediately, and it's
there another game that's similar to this, as far as like building the house? I feel like I've played something
there
like
has
this
to be.
before.
I can't think of one off the top of my head, but
All
there
right.
absolutely are similar. Off the top of my head, I can't think of one, but there absolutely is similar types of games.
The comic book store, I've seen you guys playing like the zombie tile game where it's very familiar. where you lay it out.
similar.
Oh, zombies.
Yeah, zombies. Yeah. Which,
So we played that at the comic
We
book
played
store?
this at
Is
the
that
comic book
one?
shop.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
all right. I thought I played something similar to that.
So, our scenario was, like our end game was I was a traitor, so the rest of you guys had to team off. You get two different books. There's a book for the traitor.
Which-
There's a book for...
This was cool.
That's what
like,
I mean. This is when the
genuinely-
game...
This is
I
where
just
like
was
RP
not-
was already like RP
yeah.
was out
Yeah.
at that point.
You
and
already
then,
didn't
like,
know what was happening.
for-
so
for-
yeah.
That was my problem. I didn't understand what was happening, so I was mad at myself.
And also, I was explaining what was happening, and I didn't understand. Right?
Yeah, so
to
that...
be honest, like we
tough.
had to go regroup,
tough.
and I'd be like, I messed that up.
He was fighting to stay awake too.
Oh, but like that. So at that point, like RP had something where like
Yeah.
it would help us win, and so the first time around, he tried to use it, and it didn't work, and then it was like you just saw him tap out.
Yeah,
Like,
so-
I also
we're
had
done
like
with
the
this.
sun in my eyes. Like,
Yeah,
I think if we would have took a break and went and got coffee, I think you would have been more into it.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Maybe. So...
I think if we would have took a break, went home, tried it in 3 weeks, I might have been in.
Yeah, maybe. We'll try again. So that was kind of good and kind of bad that I was the traitor because you were asking me questions and we don't know each other's information. So there were sometimes you were asking me
And
something.
also, like, at the end, I showed you the book, and some of that information.
I was still
vague.
reading it. Yeah, it's
Like I didn't like we had to roll a certain amount of times, and like it didn't designate when we were allowed to roll, so we just assumed we could roll it whenever. That might be wrong.
Yeah,
I still
so-
don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
so
there's
the-
a lot of like.
yeah. The scenario we encountered was that my character found a guy in the house, and he turned out to be a madman, or at least that's what everyone thought. And then he just starts screaming about creatures being outside. And the fog that was outside apparently turned into spirits.
Specters,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, so he just started yelling, like, open the windows. So, like, I guess, become mad with him, and I run around the house trying to opening the windows. So on each tile, there's, like, a overhead view of a house, like, room. So in the ones that had a window in the tile, I would put, like, the specter token upside down. And my goal was to run around, open the windows, let these specters in, and then to kill everyone else. Like, me, the madman, and the specters
Kill everybody.
Just start going through the house. I open the windows, the spirits attack everyone else.
And then our goal was to do a exorcism.
So we had to get like certain keys.
We had to go to certain rooms. So there was like a chapel, a crypt, like basically like religious.
Your
like, things that
goal
you would think about
was
with
to
exorcism.
save me.
Yeah.
Yeah, or there were
And we
certain items that you could use.
The RP had a ring.
A ring.
Yeah.
What did you end up getting? Do you remember what that was called?
The holy
Holy
something.
symbol, I think it was
Yeah.
just called the holy symbol. Like if you had a certain item, it didn't matter what room you were in. You could try to perform the exorcism, and you had just to roll a certain amount on
In
your
the room.
one like category. I think it was stamina. You had to roll a certain amount of stamina or knowledge. It was both like the mind category.
Sanity,
Yes.
not stamina.
Sanity, yeah.
Sanity,
and
yeah, not
knowledge,
stamina.
yes. So basically, it was a race for us to get to these rooms or get these items, which we lucked out. We had them already, and then roll these things. And it was a race for Marvel to get to this box and
It was also
kill us.
we
Yeah.
kind of had all the items we needed to
we
help us.
we got the help, especially considering like
Because
this-
my character's sanity and knowledge was awful,
No.
but I had
Yeah,
items
you were like a
that,
meathead.
Yeah,
you had more
yeah,
physical
Shane
traits.
had like
yeah.
a meathead.
I had items that boosted both of
Nick,
them.
you kind of
so
had a meathead
It gave
too,
me
right?
extra
I was a
rolls.
He was a child. He was
Ah,
a
okay,
kid.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
and I
right,
had
yeah,
like
yeah.
5 terrible rolls, so I was already lower to begin with.
Shane's character was Jack Monterey.
Jack Monterey, yeah.
Ox Monterey in this game. It was
The
Jack's
might,
brother.
The
Oh,
might
yeah,
was
that's right.
was way up, but then everything else was
Yeah,
low.
he was literally a meathead. Like, just
He's-
super
yeah, he's
strong.
just super strong and dumb. That's a brick.
Yeah, so it was interesting. Like, I liked...
I think even though it wasn't for me today, I found this game very interesting.
Yeah.
I think
were
if we
saying to
had
me-
if we had more time and you could play it again like fresh, I think you would be in.
There was a
more.
lot of
Listen,
moving parts.
The idea that
Yeah.
there's 50 different outcomes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
It's
could...
incredibly
And that's the
interesting.
thing. The
And we
replayability
talk
is...
and that's what we talk
Yeah.
about all the time.
Is
And this
replayability. So next time we play, someone else could be the traitor with
Yeah.
the same scenario. It could be a totally different scenario.
Yeah.
Like, so that's interesting. Like, if you can get a group that actually wants to play, then
It's a,
Look,
no,
three
no, no.
out of the
I'll say
four
that. I will
people-
say this. I'll say this. It's a commitment because
Oh, yeah.
especially like
It
if,
did take us like an hour.
if
It
we
could,
if we played
yeah.
it again,
It's the longest game. Of my
we
life.
would
Yeah.
know. Like other than RP who tuned out right away, most of us would know what was going on in the
Yeah.
game. But like
the first part for sure, you would know to explore
that
the house.
that
and-
learning phase is
You know,
extensive.
you know
And
what
if you're
I-
not into it, you're not into it.
You know, what I think would have helped if it was what's the name of the game? Betrayal of the Sanctum Sanctorum on the hill. I think.
Or if it was
Invested
like
in?
Disney.
It was Doctor Strange or
Yeah.
Betrayal at the Magic Kingdom.
Yep.
If the point of the game was to save the Scarlet Witch, RP would have been so into it.
I would have been the hero.
So they do have an IP, but it's Dungeons and Dragons.
That's so cool.
But just yeah, like it's like Betrayal of Baldur's Gate or something. It's the same idea,
very
but
cool.
it's in the Dungeons and
The
Dragons
game's
world.
the game's cool. The gameplay was cool. My mentality was just
It's
not
and it's
there.
I think it's
And
I think it's complicated.
I think it's relatable if you're here on what we're here doing on
You
our
know what,
creative
though?
retreat.
It's really not that complicated because technically Shane's
Up front.
Shane's a gateway gamer and he was into it. Like I,
But I'm saying up
Shane
front,
lit up.
it's a lot
But-
to learn up front.
I had Bob on my team explaining.
I
everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like
If,
I-
this
if
is
I
what you
ended up
want.
being the traitor, I would have been really lost.
Yeah.
yeah.
I may as well have had headphones in. That's really like how like it's my own fault.
Well, you were
100%.
fighting to stay awake
Yeah,
the whole
you're
A
time.
You're
little
fighting
bit,
your own
yes.
spirits.
I was fighting to stay awake. And
Well,
fighting
there's
to
a
keep the sun
creature
out of my
here, and I
eyes.
think
There
he
is.
kind of took over for you for a little bit. You were going his way.
Lenny Kravitz.
The second half of the game, I definitely felt like I was trying to get really into it, but I was just in like the worst possible
Yeah,
Oh,
so-
Nick was
position.
getting Nick did
So,
what he
like,
had to do for the
He was
team.
surrounded by
So
specters.
every time I was like, oh man, I'm starting to get into this. Like I found like a pathway I play the two, and then next turn I'm like, oh no, I'm like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
just 2 or 3 rounds
he
from
got-
being
we
like
need-
knocked out.
He got backed into a corner.
We needed
Yeah.
like 4 of these tokens for the exorcism, and we sent Nick to the one room where you could get one, and that's where
There was, like,
Brian
5
put
windows
all
right
the
there.
He laid all his
specters.
traps.
Yeah. So like
Nick, go here.
Nick did his job, and then everybody attacked him, and I was just like, Nick, you're dead now, man. Like
Well,
he ended up getting out, but like in the moment, I was like, all right, you did your job, man. You're dead. Thank you. Go.
That
go
was-
do what you got to do now.
That was the most interesting part was because this could have played out a lot different. So we pretty much used every house tile.
I think there was like 3 left.
Yeah, like the house was built, so I had all the windows available. Where if I didn't, I would have to search the house for the rest of the windows. So because I knew where all the specters and how
But
windows
same
were,
situation, we would have had to search the house for it. I
For
think there
the
was like
same-
5 different rooms.
Well, RP had
and
the
2
ring.
items. He had the ring to start. It was like the crypt, the library.
But
It
if
was
he had
like-
the ring and was beating me, actually rolling well, he could just banish all the ghosts.
But
That
it would have been
counted.
RP chasing all of them, and us 3 just running around
Yeah.
like idiots. You know what I mean? Like it would have been
It would have been
everything
Nick
on
as
him.
Good IP
bait.
for this game. Scooby Doo. There you go.
They have it actually. I forgot.
Scooby Doo is the IP for
They
this
do
game,
have
100%.
Is that the
Scooby-Doo
Scooby-Doo
version.
game
I
that you said is not worth it?
no, that's.
Scooby Doo is the
It's
IP
not worth it
that
for us,
would
so-
fit this game perfectly.
Perfect.
I think they do
I'm
have
sure they do.
Scooby Doo version. It's more like a kids.
Yeah,
but-
that's the move. You're
But
right.
yeah, another surprisingly. I mean, I enjoy this game. I played it before. I got it for Christmas finally. It's a game I've wanted, and I just never bit the bullet on
How
it.
many? Like, what's minimum player situation? 2.
Minimum 3, I think.
3. It was like 2
Yeah.
is like not enough.
Yeah, because it's
Nah,
gotta be one person turning on the rest. So it's gotta be at least
Yeah, I think it's like 3 to 6.
So it's not like. Would you play this versus? You can't play it versus yourself either.
No, not that I know. There's no solo.
Yeah, because you gotta strategize. Because if you know
Yeah.
your strategy.
So like,
it
how
doesn't
often do you
work.
think you'll play this now that you have it?
Not a lot, and that's why I never bit the bullet on
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I prefer
So-
more solo or 2-player games.
Did somebody buy that for you?
Yeah, I got it for Christmas. So
Yeah.
we need a Pollyanna, and I'm just
Santa
like, you know
Claus
what?
out
Let me throw this on
Yeah,
there.
here's
and
an easy one.
Yeah.
You're good.
And if I get it, I get it.
Well, I know one person who is willing to play this whenever you want, and it's RP.
Anytime.
We're gonna get to try again because we've talked about this before with like on Funfair.
Yeah.
Where maybe we just weren't in the spirit
It's
of
the
it because
same
I've
thing.
replayed it
It's the same
and
Funfair,
enjoyed
it's the
it.
Same thing, yeah.
And it's Smash Up, I think, was just kind of like
Smash Up was the same effect as this, not Funfair. Funfair was just a while, but I did like it.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Smash Up, you had a bad
yeah, you had a bad
Combat.
draw.
I was just
Too.
so
Yeah.
over it.
like because you couldn't do anything in Smash
Yep.
Up. We were just destroying you in.
So I think when we revisit Smash Up, you'll have a different opinion, and we revisit this game, you'll have hopefully a different opinion. And if not, maybe it's just not for you.
I think there's also situations where, like in my experience, you don't play. Like it happened to me at the comic book store a lot, where I'd like come in and the game was already started, so obviously I'm not playing. But I would like we used to hang out for like hours at a time, so I'd watch people play the game and I'd get invested, just like being invested
Yeah,
in
for
what
sure.
they're doing,
being an audience
and
member.
then you're good. Like that's almost sometimes like it's more of a draw. Like I think that's how I got into Smash Up. I don't think I played the first round.
What,
Like where I think you and Duke and somebody
Okay.
else are probably playing. I was like, all right, what is this? And you
yeah, that
explained
was
it, and I was
we
like, all
played
right,
that
yeah, I
a
can
lot.
get into this.
Yeah.
So speaking of like replaying and stuff like that, or revisiting, we've revisited Thanos Rising this week. So I've talked about on this
Once.
podcast how Shane and Nick were newly introduced to the game. So I've spoken for you, but now that you've played it a second time, what are your thoughts on this game? To our listeners out there, you guys are gateway gamers. What's your thoughts?
That game is so frustrating because it's stacked against you the whole time
Yes.
that it makes you want to keep playing until you win.
What's the fun?
Which I haven't yet.
Now, the fun part about it is that both of you and Nick have texted me like days and weeks later being like,
Just thinking about it.
Nick was
Yeah.
like, I'm dreaming about being.
I couldn't wait to get down here this weekend and play.
Yeah.
Like, I was genuinely upset like a few days
Yeah.
ago. Like, I can't believe like I lost the
It's
game
so
and had no
frustrating.
possibly idea.
So
of-
Nick texted me and was like, I understand why why games are addicting after
Yeah.
playing that.
I think part of the problem is you're not losing to like I'm not losing to Nick.
No, you're
I'm
losing
losing
to
to the
Thanos.
game, which is
And
like
it's
so
like-
much.
Together.
It's like
Yeah.
the reason I don't like gambling is because I'm losing and the casino is winning when I'm
Yeah.
losing. It's Thanos.
It's
Thanos
like the bad
wins.
guy wins.
Yeah.
That's a great game though.
Dude,
It
it's
is,
so fun,
yeah.
but it's so frustrating.
So we said, because I think Brian already said we're in Ocean City, New Jersey. If we beat Thanos this weekend, I'm going
Or
into the
plunging,
ocean.
yeah.
You
And
swear?
we're only like one
Yeah.
block away.
I didn't bring bathing suit.
all right, I got
but-
shorts, you
Yeah,
got
I'll
it.
go in.
You're
I'll
not
go
gonna
in.
need it.
So if we beat Thanos and you also get like there's an in memoriam section because Bob had hypothermia. Like, that's why.
It is quite cold.
Yeah.
But I'm in. I'll go in the ocean if we beat Thanos.
If you go in the ocean, I'll be there waiting with a warm hug.
I appreciate that.
We'll nurse you back to life.
And a small towel.
Towels here are tiny.
There's a washcloth.
So I had the same effect when I first got the game. Like I was playing a solo, but you just play with like two people.
wrong for like a month.
Well, I played wrong for a while, and that was frustrating. But once I like figured it out, I was still losing, and it was legit like every night I was
Sometimes we
playing this game.
even cheat and still
Yeah,
lose.
this is the game I cheat at the most.
Yeah,
Where I'm
we'll-
like,
we'll
I got
re-roll.
that.
What's one more roll?
And he still wins.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Thanos Rising is the one game that I will say more than anything else has so much to do with the shuffling of the cards.
Yeah. It's
Oh
all luck.
yeah, it's if you get
Because
a bunch
if
of
you
villains
get
up front.
a good like sequence of cards, we're like,
Yeah.
all right, we've built a team. Now here's one little villain here.
Yeah.
Here's one little villain here. Here's like a strong villain, but it's the only one out there, so we can all attack them.
Yeah.
Like it's so.
If the shuffle goes the other way and you have mostly villains coming up,
so
you're not winning.
Yeah.
You're not gonna win.
You're
changes
you're at the
game.
mercy of the cards,
Yeah.
and then the dice. It's the most luck heavy.
You're at the
game.
mercy of Thanos.
Oh yeah, and that.
It's true. It is Thanos' game. He
So-
is rising. from
Yeah.
what I
Such a
understand.
fun game that I hate playing because it really just drives me nuts.
So we lost last night. This is a 2.5 day retreat.
Yeah.
So we'll play again tonight. And if we lose again tonight, I don't think we can leave tomorrow until we and I will
Late.
We'll extend it another day.
I'll message the Airbnb host and tell him otherwise.
Did you contact them to come up and
Yeah,
help
help out. How good are you at dice rolling?
Hey, if you can help us win, we'll leave.
It's on the OP's dime.
Listen, everything's clean and taken care of. We're just sitting around your counter playing this game.
Playing this one game. We're on our way. Well, I mean, that's kind of it. We're excited for the next
new year?
Yeah, the new episodes as we kind of have been brainstorming some ideas coming up.
Yep.
We just wanted to record a little something while we were all together,
Yeah.
and it
This
worked
was fun.
out.
If I have the time, I'd love to come play another game and do another episode. This
Oh.
was,
Yeah, this is a
You're
one-time
not
thing.
Yeah, you guys. I appreciate it, but
Nah, of course, you're always welcome.
no, yeah, for sure. We definitely have a couple games that are more than 2 players that we would absolutely
I mean, maybe
need.
when we revisit this, we're gonna need 3 people.
Yeah, true.
in any of those games, do I get to throw foam burritos at you?
Yeah, we can review what's the expansion for Throw Throw
Avocado.
Throw Throw
Hush, hush,
Avocado.
avocado.
Yeah,
Chuck guacamole.
there you go.
Chop chop.
Are they more baseball shaped? Because I feel like we could really huck them at each other.
No, they're just as they look like half. If you cut avocado
I
in half
actually
and-
suggested, because there was 5 of us and 2 burritos. I was like, I might buy this just so we can play it with 4
more
burritos in play.
burritos. It would be
Like, the
dangerous.
more burritos in play is the funner.
Yeah, I might get this for next weekend. I'm going away with Audrey's family up to.
You could borrow it. Just borrow it. I don't care. Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
I'll borrow it.
No, never mind.
And buy it for yourself, own it.
All right, but anything to plug before we go? Producer Nick, you're the head producer here at the Previously Recorded Network, responsible for this this getaway. Anything to plug before we go?
Well, way to put that on the record that I'm responsible.
You are responsible. You're the producer.
He's funding this
I'm
whole
a
trip.
financier. That's all I was. Yeah, that's all I was in this process.
I don't have anything to plug. I'm just enjoying a nice weekend.
Mango Kart.
Mango card.
Mario Kart? Yes, good
Mario
one.
Kart.
Yeah, get a
That's
Switch.
awesome.
They're awesome.